Today I am going to team up with my friend and pile monitoring specialist Mr. Prasad Hiremath to discuss such a work. So before I go ahead with our discussion with Prasad, I want to give you a basic introduction to the oil platform installation. You see, normally the oil platform will have 4 leg or 8 leg, and they are placed on the seabed. We take a big pile or a iron pipe and we drill it through the leg into the seabed, and this is called above water piling. We have something called a skirt coming out from the legs. There will be either one skirt per leg or two skirt per leg depending on the weight of the platform or the purpose of the platform, and we do through the skirt piling, and this is called underwater skirt piling. All of this skirt will be under the water. Okay, so we drive a huge pipe through the skirt which is attached to the platform leg and drive it into the seabed, and then we have to actually do the monitoring of this piling action, because you do not want these piles to get crumpled up and break while you are driving it through the skirt or the leg, because if they are actually not going till the full depth of the seabed, then the jacket will not have the stability to stay on the seabed. So you want the pile to be intact till it is driven all the way down to the seabed. Thank you for joining with me today. I welcome you to my channel. I start with some simple questions. Tell me about pile monitoring. What is it that you guys do in pile monitoring, and what do you monitor and why?
Pile monitoring is actually a QA/QC tool, for the quality assurance and quality control in the field when the piles are driven. Of course, there are many methods, the traditional methods such as pile load test and all, but there is no way to visually inspect a pile when it is in the ground. So in that case, what we do is we adapt this dynamic testing of piles. Say suppose a pile is already casted in the ground, we take a particular load, a dead weight, we drop it on the pile, sensors are attached, we take the reading, we analyze, and we come to know the complete health of the pile. So in pile monitoring, what we do is, instead of going for a plate load test, which is highly unrealistic, impractical when it comes to the offshore industries. In offshore industries, we cannot do plate load test in the deep oceans and all. So in such cases, we go for this pile monitoring, where we attach sensors and we get real-time data when the pile is being driven, and also it can be used for the piles which are already casted or placed in their position, and we can come to know their health, their capacities in the sense how much load they can take, maybe, and this can also be extended for the future. So basically pile monitoring helps a client in deciding what is the health of the pile. So this is what pile monitoring is basically in general.
Okay, so you say that you have to attach some sensor on top of the pile, but how can you tell if something is not wrong at the bottom end of the pile? Does this sensor give you data throughout the length of the pile?
Yeah, actually the main purpose of pile monitoring is to know what is happening throughout the pile. We can assess the quality of the pile, the capacities at every single inch of the pile until the final penetration. Suppose when we drop a dead weight on a pile or something, or the pile is being hammered, one's impact blow will travel along the length of the pile, and that will give you the complete picture of the pile and the capacities all along the pile until the tip of the pile. So these things are recorded in our data, which can be further analyzed to know how every inch of the pile is, in what condition it is, if there is any damage, if there is any discontinuity, everything can be measured. These sensors are very precise when it comes to measuring the every aspect of the pile until the tip of the pile.
Uh, so what other information do you guys need before you can do an accurate measurement, you know?
Yeah, when it comes to data, without the initial inputs, we cannot proceed. So we will be needing the complete pile details such as its length, the material it is made of, the welding joint types, and the way the welding is done. So, say suppose usually in offshore piles we encounter circular weldings, but we have also seen spun piles, helical weldings and all. So such details are to be put in our data before we go for the testing of the pile, because based on the material of the pile, based on its joints, based on its length, all of its aspects and measurements will change. So beforehand we have to have the complete detail of the pile. The second point, the soil data, in the ground in which the pile is going to be driven has to be accurate, and it based on that we can anticipate how the pile will behave while it is being hammered or being placed in the position. So soil data is another important data that we will be needing, and then comes the hammer data, where we will be needing the type of the hammer, the make of the hammer, the highest energy it can produce, and many other such details of the hammer from the manufacturer of the hammer. And all these data will be provided to us beforehand, but there will be last minute changes in the design, the hammer requirements. So the client, before the start of the hammering, he provides the corrected or updated versions to the team that is on board or in the field. These are the basic data that we'll be requiring.
Okay, so exactly what you are measuring, you know, and how does this measurement help client?
Yeah, I'll get into the details now. There will be two sensors. There is one strain gauge and there is a accelerometer. We attach one strain gauge, one accelerometer on one side, and one strain gauge, one accelerometer on the other side. So totally basically four sensors we attach. From this we measure the strain that will be converted into the force, and then the velocity that is measured by the accelerometer. Based on these measurements, with further mathematical equations and all, we come to calculate many aspects of the pile, like such as the tension, the compression stress, and the capacities, the soil pile interaction, how the soil and the pile are interacting, everything we can come to know. Another force involved, that is called as dynamic force. When you hit it with a sudden impact, there will be a dynamic force that is created, which is not at all required for our static calculations. So reducing that from stress or the total capacity is the main aspect that we do in pile monitoring. And based on the recordings from these two sensors, we can measure how much the dynamic stress or dynamic force is, so that we can reduce it from the total and we can get the actual static capacities of the pile. First of all, we collect the data. As I told you earlier, we keep the data with us. Later on, based on the hammer bell length and all, say suppose the pile is this length and the hammer bell sits like this, our sensors are supposed to be outside the bell. So all these measurements client will provide on board, the contractor will provide. Based on those measurements, we take accurate measurements on the pile and drill and tap holes of accurate measurements, which are supposed to be very precise to attach our sensors to the pile, so that when the pile is being hammered intensely, our sensors should not come loose, and they should be intact until the end of the pile. Client will tell us when the pile is going to be lifted, and before that, in tandem with the work that is going on board, like there are many operations going on, we have to fit in our work in all those things. So we make our time in such a way that we go attach sensors before the pile is being lifted, and we run the cables, everything, we secure it on the pile, and we make sure the sensors are fitted properly, and we do calibration test prior to the hammering when the pile is still not being lifted.
Tell me what pre-qualification do you guys need, you know, to be able to do a pile monitoring job? What do you study to become a geotechnical engineer and how do you get certified?
Usually, the geotechnical engineer will be from a civil engineering background, and instrumentation engineer, he is basically from electronics background with a good knowledge of sensors, cables, and all. To be a geotechnical engineer, I can say civil engineering should be the background. So, with that knowledge, you can better perform in the pile monitoring. There is an association called as PDCA, Pile Driving Contractors Association. They actually conduct an exam where you get certified with various levels. The exam is usually conducted by PDI. Actually, this qualification is not mandatory. This is preferable. If you have it, it means that you are an expert in pile monitoring.
Okay, suppose you are not a geotechnical engineer and you were working in an offshore company that does all this pile monitoring job and you are very interested to do this job. So, what do you need to prepare you to be a successful pile monitoring person?
As I told you earlier, anybody with a good experience in the field of pile monitoring can lead a team of pile monitoring experts and all. He can also be an expert, but you preferably it will be a geotechnical engineer who will be taking technical decisions because the client requires it. The other main important things are to be kept in mind before a good data is collected. So an experienced person can do that. So I can tell you anybody can lead that. And when it comes to certification, it is not mandatory actually, but there are few clients, they usually prefer certified engineers to work on pile monitoring aspect of their contracts. The PDI does not specify any qualification to take exams. Anybody with a good experience and a good knowledge of pile monitoring can take exam and get certified.
Thank you very much, Prasad. We had a very insightful meeting today. And thank you again for joining us. I hope everybody seeing this video will really benefit from this video. Thank you again. So that was my discussion with Prasad. The gist of the discussion was anybody can be a pile monitoring engineer. Whether you are a surveyor, whether you are an engineer or a geotechnical engineer, you can take up the challenge and become a pile monitoring engineer. So that's it for today. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. And thank you very much for being with us today.